I'm a community navigator, and I help guys like me, returning citizens of incarceration.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to help them kind of navigate the same process I went through, and try to get them in touch with the right resources and
Okay.
navigating the frustration part of what I went through when I first came home.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to help them get their ID, trying to help them get their social security cards, trying to help them get their find housing, find employment,
Okay.
get their records expunged and or sealed, and just moral support, just having been through what they're going through.
Okay.
So
How long have you been working there?
actually I was incarcerated myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I spent 29 years, 5 months, 19 days in prison
Okay.
for murder I didn't do. So yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I actually just came home in December 19th of last year.
Okay.
So I've been home now, going on 9 months, a little over 8.5 months now. I think the rewarding part about it is, I guess, just being in a position to try to help somebody, and not just helping them with lip service, just trying to actually help somebody, or trying to pull somebody how I was pulled.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the challenging part of it is just the hurdles, or trying to get us, meaning us, the formerly incarcerated, to wrap their head around something different.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say they want to do something different, but when it comes time to doing something different, there's still that challenge because they've never done it either.
Okay.
And that's the thing, even myself, I've never had a job. So now, and I always consider myself a non-people person, because being in there, you kind of stay to yourself. So now it's also challenging me to become more of a socialist, to socialize. Like I say, it's helping me at the same time, because it's bringing me out of the cave that I've been in.
Happened to cause you to be arrested for a crime you didn't commit.
Young and black, that's all. So I fit the criteria. Some guys out the net, they have been involved in something, and upon looking for those guys, they came across me, and young black male. And so I ended up being tortured by John Burge and his crew. So yeah, and forced to confess to a crime that I never even committed. There was no evidence I even committed. But along with 4 people, that was the real tragic part.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I ended up going to prison, and just growing up basically in prison. In prison, I ended up getting my associate's degree. I got my GED. I got my associate's degree. I got some type of dietary skills. Took a couple vocational classes.
Okay.
And yeah, I just going to jail young, it makes you grow up fast. So I miss that. So even now, coming home to the degree, I'm still somewhat 17, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm actually 47, but I'm 17 in terms of progress.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. To answer your last part first, I'm not sure if I actually overcame it. I just survived the initial part of it.
Okay.
And I guess just going to jail, I never had a chance to deal with being tortured. I had to deal with what was in front of me, which was being incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
So I never dealt with that part.
Okay.
So now being free, it's like I'm dealing with that part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now it's okay, I'm through with that part, or the incarcerating part, because even just being in prison, knowing you shouldn't be there, it's like an ongoing torture.
Absolutely.
So, and people don't know the difference between somebody who actually did what they did and somebody who's actually in there for something they didn't do.
Right, right.
And what I tell people again, that I wasn't freed, I was just released. So
Break that down.
I can never
Break that down for me.
I don't think you can never be free from a lived experience. So, and I can't get yesterday back. So just going forward that I was released, because now I'm still dealing with being in there and now I'm out here.
Okay.
In the sense that I came home off a blessing. It's not like I knew I was coming home. I was supposed to come home in 2031. So
ask this question. So after having that kind of experience,
yeah,
why when you got out, it seemed like the last thing you want to do is be dealing with anything even remotely dealing with that. Why dedicate your life now to fighting for people and helping people, returning citizens, get their lives back in order? Why not say, you know what, I'm gonna go teach, I'm gonna do this, I got my degrees, I won't even think about anything dealing with incarceration? Why would you choose such a level of service like this?
Right. I think for the most part it's because that I've along this journey I've met so many guys, just genuine guys that because of the close quarters you forced to deal with each other. Mm-hmm. So in being forced to deal with each other, you come out with a different understanding of people that you never would have otherwise got. Because you technically, I grew up with these guys.
Okay.
And many of them are home now and many of them are still yet to come home. So for me, I think what I'm trying to do is what I would have hoped somebody would have done for me. In terms of just really, really seeing, I get it, just being there and hugging me embracing me when I need somebody to really, really hold my hand. Even up till today, I still feel like I wish somebody would have held my hand to this point.
Yeah.
So even though it's still gonna be a learned experience, I still gonna have to go through some things, but because I didn't have, people always say, if you need me, you can call me. Mm-hmm. I didn't have that in there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how to utilize that now. So my thing is, presence is everything in terms of just trying to be there for people so they wouldn't have to go through the hardships that I'm going through at the same time. I'm also learning. I'm learning how to be there for someone else. One of the barriers is, I guess because of what's going on now, they're really just releasing you with papers, not necessarily any photo ID or anything like that. But also, here's the sad part is, again, in my situation, I came home just on the blessing. So majority of people are coming home at the end of their time. So they've actually been preparing, counting down to, I'm finna go home in so many days. So my thing is, I think there should be a better system in place for those guys who, you just went through all this, so you should already have your state ID. You should already have your birth certificate. You should already have your social security card. These same hurdles that can be eliminated, having to deal with on this side, and it's almost like you don't even understand where this came from. So it should be simpler. Even just telling you, hey, I just came from such and such prison. That should be more than enough. Because also the other thing is, majority of people that I'm dealing with have been gone for decades. So in terms of just going forward, there's that trust factor there too. Mm-hmm. Meaning that coming home and I'm already here, they know I'm gonna kind of steer them in direction opposed to somebody you really ain't familiar with. And I think that's the community that we also built too, unrealized.
So
a lot of guys showed me that there was life after incarceration. So life after serving time, meaning that we were in a situation, but now we're in a different situation. And now it's about going forward, despite where we come from, we're still able to go forward.